So, for the fundamental concepts of gender and development, first is we have mainstreaming. So, the meaning of mainstreaming is the process of making something start to be considered normal. Mainstreaming aims to make gender equality and women's empowerment integral to all development projects. It also incorporates gender equality, goals, and considerations into the development of policies and programs in numerous areas. Mainstreaming is critical for advancing gender equality and women's empowerment as central goals of development activities. Mainstreaming addresses the core causes of gender inequality by incorporating perspectives into all elements of development, planning, and execution, resulting in more inclusive and sustainable communities. The second one is development. It means it's the process of developing or being developed. In order to empower people, especially women and marginalized groups, development initiatives aim to address gender disparities and promote gender equality. Development recognizes that gender is a critical dimension that intersects with various aspects of human development. Development refers to the broader goal of improving the well being, capabilities, and opportunities of individuals and the communities. Next is gender blindness. So, the meaning of gender blindness is failure to recognize that the roles and responsibilities. Gender blindness is frequently associated with other forms of discrimination and marginalization, including race, ethnicity, class, disability, and sexual orientation. Gender blindness can result in unequal resource allocation since funding and resources are not directed toward correcting gender imbalances or fostering gender equality. Gender responsiveness seeks to stimulate revolutionary change by addressing gender norms, stereotypes, and systems of power that perpetuate injustice. Gender responsiveness begins with a grasp of the social, cultural, economic, and the political factors that influence gender roles, norms, and inequities in a specific setting. It acknowledges that gender is a social construct that determines power dynamics and access to resources and opportunities. Lastly, gender and development. So, gender and development seeks to address the specific needs, priorities, and experiences of women, men, girls, and boys within the development policies and programs. It recognizes that women and girls frequently face disproportionate barriers to education, healthcare, economics, opportunity, and political participation, and work to address these parties. God emphasizes that the importance of empowering women as agents of change and development in their own right. God also underlines the need of involving men and boys as allies in attaining gender equality.
Sustainable developmental goals. This aims to transform our world because this is a call for us to end the poverty, inequality, protect our planet, and ensure that all people enjoy health, justice, and prosperity. We have here now the 17 SDGs, or the 17 Sustainable Developmental Goals from 2016 up to 2030. First, we have the no poverty. We need to end this poverty in all forms because this is our number one goal. Second, we have the zero hunger. We need to end this hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition, and have a promote sustainable agriculture. Third, we have the good health and well-being. We need to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Fourth, we have the quality education. We need to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Fifth, we have the gender equality. We need to achieve gender equality and promote all women and girls. We need to have the clean water and sanitation. We need to ensure availability and sustainable management for water and sanitation for all. Seven, we have the affordable and clean energy. We need to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. 8. We have the decent work and economic growth. We need to promote inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. 9. We have the industry, innovation, and infrastructure. We need to have a build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. 10. We have to reduce inequalities. We need to reduce inequality within and among countries. 11. We have the sustainable cities and communities. We need to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. 12. We have the responsible consumption and production. We need to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. 13. We have the climate action. We need to take an urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. 14. We have the life below water. This is to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. 15. We have the life on land. Protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification and halt, and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. 16. We have the peace, justice, and strong institutions. We need to promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, improve access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. Last, we have the partnership for the goals. We need to strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. We have here now the Philippine Developmental Plan 2011 to 2016, then PDP 2017 up to 2022. It has a three pillars. These three pillars is the malasakit, pagbabago, and patuloy na pag-unlad. Malasakit or enhancing the social fabric. This is to ensure people-centered, clean, and efficient governance, pursue swift and fair administration of justice, promote Philippine culture and values. Pagbabago is inequality reducing or transformation. We need to expand economic opportunities, increase access to economic opportunities, accelerate human capital development, reduce vulnerability of individuals. And lastly, we have the patuloy na pag-unlad. This is the increasing growth potential. Promote technology adaptation, stimulate innovation, maximize demographic dividend. The PDP 2017 up to 2022 is the first phase in achieving the goals of Ambition 2040.
So let us begin with Chapter 1 Society. I will be discussing with you the meaning and nature of society. So in the New World Encyclopedia, society is simply defined as a grouping of individuals which is characterized by common interests and may have distinctive culture and institutions. So basically, society is just a group of people with a movement towards a common goal. Now, these group of people are more often than not associated together with a lot of different things. such as religion. Why is society associated with religion? It is because the religious beliefs and practices shape the cultural norms, values, and institutions within communities. Religion also influences social behavior, moral standards, and legal systems, like when the Spaniards conquered the Philippines and changed a lot of things about our society. And the religious organizations also provide community support and cohesion. Society is also associated with benevolence because people within the communities often show kindness and generosity towards each other, supporting charitable organizations, and in turns encourages efforts to help those that are in need. Society is also associated with culture. Now, this is one of the most common associations with society because it encompasses the shared beliefs, tradition, art, language, and customs that shape the identity and behavior of a group of people within a community. Society is also associated with politics because it involves the organization, governance, and decision-making processes that shape how a community or group operates and interact with one another. Now, as a society grows and mature, patriotic association also becomes present since these group of people are now intact with one another. So patriotism becomes very much relevant. Now, beginning with the family, human life is one medium for interdependence and sharing physical, mental, and spiritual items. Now, family is the very basic part of society because this is where it all begins. This is where you learn the social construct within your family, where there's a father figure, a mother figure, you have your older siblings or your younger siblings. This is also a place where you get to share your thoughts and your emotions with one another. So family is a very important part of society because it teaches us the very basic social construct of society. Now, while conflict both within and between societies have been perennial, all societies strive to maintain harmony from within. Now, hindi naman may iwasan ang conflict. And for me, I think that conflict is a very crucial and important part of society because without conflict, certain issues would not be resolved. And there are a lot of things that revolve around society that needs to be brought up and is needed to be debated about. Okay, now let's talk about the origin of society. Now, the term society emerged in the 15th century, and it is derived from the French word société, which has its origin in the Latin societas, which means a friendly association with others, a socius, which means companion, associate, and comrade or business partner. It is essential in the meaning of society. Now let's take a look at society and culture. How are they related and what are their differences? Well, society is a complex whole with interdependent parts, while culture attributes characteristics of a community. As you all know, culture is just a part of this big umbrella of society. According to Clifford Geertz, society are actual arrangements of social relations, while culture consists of beliefs and symbolic forms. And according to Edward Burnett Tyler, and the study of social sciences, society has been used as a group of people which most interactions were belonging to the group. And culture or civilization, taking in wide ethnographic sense, which includes knowledge, belief, art, moral laws, customs, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. Now, as confusing as they may seem, society and culture are just interrelated concepts that requires each other to function.
Good day everyone. So since we already know where society came from, let's now tackle its different types. Social scientists differentiate societies based on a variety of factors like what Jared Lenski did. So si Lenski is a young sociologist and he differentiates societies into 4 levels based on their level of technology, communication, and economy. So we have 4 levels and those are hunters and gatherers, simple agricultural, advanced agricultural, and industrial. So let's talk about hunters and gatherers first. So when we say hunter-gatherer society, it shows the strongest dependence on the environment. So why? Is it because hunter-gatherers rely on their surroundings for survival? They survive by hunting animals, fishing, and gathering plants or parts of the plant that can be consumed. And since these societies were dependent on the environment nga for their food, they often had to move to new areas kung saan sila makakakuha ng mga means to survive. Next is simple agricultural. In this level of society naman, they rely on farming and their primary tools employed for their agricultural production are human and animal labor since they lack on iron tools and weapons. So in this society, maraming employment opportunities since wala pang mga machines and puro human labor lang. Yan. So, kung kanina meron tayong simple agricultural, meron ding advanced agricultural. In this level of society, farmers learn to rotate the types of crops grown in their fields and to reuse waste products such as fertilizer, which led to better harvest and bigger supplies of food. And unlike sa simple agricultural, meron na sila ditong mga new tools for digging and harvesting, which is made of metal, and this made them more effective and longer lasting. On the other hand, we also have industrial society. So this society features factories and machines. And because of that, tasks required months of labor became achievable in a matter of days. This is somewhat similar to the system earlier developed by anthropologists Morton H. Pride and Elmon Service. So, Morton is a conflict theorist and si Elma naman is an integration theorist. They produce a system of classification for societies in all human cultures which is based on the evolution of social inequality and the role of the state. So, it has 4 categories, including hunter-gatherer, which are generally egalitarian. And when we say egalitarian, that means they are all considered equal, regardless of their age, gender, or religion. So, they are also unrestricted or free to do what they want to do. Next is tribal society. So, dito meron ng mga limited instances of social rank and prestige unlike sa hunter-gatherer na lahat sila is equally free. Third is the chiefdoms, a stratified structure led by the chieftain. So, in the society, no, meron ng leader or in charge of them. And last is civilization. So, this society has a complex social hierarchy and organized institutional government. So, this type is the most advanced among the other categories. According to Margaret Mead, the fundamental unit of human society is the family, and based on her anthropological research, affirmed that centrality of the family in human society. So let's see the prominent or common types of society. First is the band. So, band societies are the simplest form of human society. It generally consists of small kinship group or group of people related by blood or marriage. This type of society has very informal leaderships since they are family. So, usually in this kind of society, the older members provides guidance and advice. Customs are transmitted orally and formal institutions are very few and or maybe non-existent. Next is the clan. So, clans are groups united by kinship and descent, defined by perceived descent from a common ancestor. So, there are clans that even if actual lineage patterns are unknown, they still recognize founding members or apical ancestors. And there are also some clans that share a stipulated common ancestor which symbolizes clan's unity. So, this ancestor can be a human or not. And if it's not a human, then it is called totem. The other type of society is called tribe. So, this type of society is a social group that exists before the development of or outside of the states. So, it is a social group within a traditional society, often loosely referring to non-Western or indigenous society. Moreover, a modern tribe is associated with a tribal leader and representatives of external powers. Ethnic group is a human population whose members identify each other usually on the basis of presumed common genealogy or lineage. It is also united by common cultural, behavioral, linguistic, or religious practices, which made sense for it to be a cultural community. We also have the chiefdom. So the chiefdom is led by an individual known as chief. It is described as a form of social organization that is more complex than a tribe and less complex than a state or civilization. So this type of society is characterized by pervasive inequality of people and centralization of authority, which may be the reason why they are prone to a cycle of collapse and renewal. The state is a political association with effective domain over a geographic area. This type of society usually includes the set of institutions that claim the authority to make rules that govern the people in the society in that territory. Moreover, in Max Weber's definition, it has a monopoly on the legitimate use of physical force within given territory, which may include the armed forces, civil service, state bureaucracy, courts, and police. City-states, on the other hand, are a region controlled exclusively by a city and usually having sovereignty, which means they were self-governing. Historically, city-states have always been part of larger cultural areas in the city-states of ancient Greece such as Athens, Sparta, and Corinth, or the city-states of northern Italy, especially Florence and Venice. However, only Singapore, Monaco, and Vietnam City remains autonomous city-states today. There are various perspectives in society, so let's discuss each of them. First is the evolutionary. In this perspective, it is presumed that 1,000 years ago, people lived in isolation and their only problems were the basic necessities to live, such as food, water, and shelter. Soon after, families emerged as an isolated organization of people who's dependent to each other for survival. They live together in a nomadic life, or they live by traveling or moving from place to place in order for them to survive. However, it became a burden for them because the enlargement of the family slowed down their mobility. So they initiated a new way of life, which is to settle down and learn the value of having their own territory, which led to birth of society. Next is the political. In political perspective, a system was established as necessary measure for their protection. There were also selected leaders who have different roles and responsibilities. And also, social norms were imposed to ensure a peaceful and progressive living. On the other hand, society in economical perspective, people must produce or they must provide means and ways to meet and sustain the essential needs such as basic and material needs today and of the next generation. To address the increasing demand of human society, the acceleration for production is vital. So this time, we will be having an activity to test if you've acquired something about our lesson. So this activity is called 2 truths and 1 lie. Okay, so I'll give you 3 statements which include 2 truths and 1 lie. So what are you going to do is to locate the lie among the given statements. After that, you need to give a concise explanation for your position. Alright, so for the first statement, band is the type of society. Second, a state is a non-political association. And the third statement, the word society derived from the French word société. So what is the lie among the 3 statements? The lie is the second statement, which says that a state is a non-political association. So why? Is it because the state is a political association with effective dominion over geographic area? So it's a political and not a non-political. Next, the first statement is ethnic groups are characterized by 2 social classes, which is elite and commoner. Second, is clans mostly described as subgroups of tribes. And third, Gerard Lenski differentiates societies into 4 levels. What is the lie? The answer is the first statement. Is it because chiefdoms are the one characterized by 2 social classes and not the ethnic group? So let's have another one. So for the first statement, from a political perspective, leaders were selected and social norms were imposed. Second, the evolutionary perspective in society initiated the birth of society. And for the last statement is, government is established during the economical perspective. Which among the three statements is not true? The answer is the third statement, because government is established from a political perspective and not in economical perspective. So remember, in order to maintain an individual's human value, society is essential. Since humans are creatures of society and the relationships we have with other people have a significant effect on how we grow and feel about ourselves. People come together through society, establishing a bond and a common identity. By offering an environment for collaboration, support, and cooperation, it fosters social cohesiveness. Social cohesiveness promotes trust, deepens ties among the group, and minimizes social isolation. So what is the purpose of knowing the society to strengthen one's role in the community? So it is vital to be knowledgeable about society since it provides us with a sense of belonging, purpose, and meaning. So with this, we are also able to access resources and support we need to survive. Understanding society is important because it gives us insights into structures, norms, and dynamics that shape our behavior, interactions, and institutions. By knowing the society, we individuals can better navigate social environments, address society's challenges, and enable us to contribute positively to collective well-being. So that concludes our discussion. So thank you for listening and for your active participation.